So I am live. Is my mic working? I think so. Hold on, you guys. Let me see if I can pull this up in my. No, I guess it's not showing. I don't know. But hi, everybody. Welcome to the Raven Wolf channel. This is Anna. And today we're going to do the Mayan astrology of, can't say his name, Mohammed. No, Mohammed. Mohandas Gandhi. Sorry. Hold on, you guys. Let me get the chat on my screen. So give me a second. Tried to do it on my phone, but it was not working. So let me mute that. Okay. Okay, I think I have everything set up here. Hi, everybody in the chat. Oh my goodness. I was a little rushing this. Hold on, you guys. Okay, so I got the chat. Hi, Pyramid 7. Michael, Alex. Anyways, so the way I'm gonna be doing this today is I'm gonna be reading a little bit of a background of Gandhi. For those of you that don't know, I mean, his background and who he was and stuff. And before I start, I do wanna say a little disclaimer that the information that I got is from the research that I've done. Now, I might miss some important information, or I might have something, like I said, missed out. But I mean, his life was so much that I could not cover in one show. So I just got keynotes about his life. So, and I don't mean to offend anybody. It's just the information I'm going to present. And then I'm going to compare it, or not compare it, but I'm going to do the his Mayan astrology. So, and also I made a little slideshow for you guys while I'm reading about his life. So here. Let me see if I can pull the chat on my phone. Okay, finally, here. It's on my phone. Okay. So, all right, I'm gonna share the slideshow first. Let me see if I can figure this out. And sorry if I keep turning the other way, but I'm turning to my computer. So I hope you guys can see this. Let me make it bigger. And I don't know if this is gonna work out. Hold on. Because once I have my notes here. Actually, that's not the right notes. Hold on. You guys bear with me. Okay, I hope that you guys can only see the slideshow, not my notes. Okay, so let me get this situated here. Okay, I push play to the slideshow. It should be playing. Yeah, okay. All right, so I did a little slideshow while I read this. So Mahatma Gandhi, by name of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, born on October 2nd, 1869 in India, and he died in January 30th in 1948 in Delhi. So he was an Indian lawyer, a politician, a social activist, and a writer who became the leader of the nationalist movement against the British rule of India. His fame spread worldwide during his lifetime and only increased after his death. The name Mahatma Gandhi is now one of the most universally recognized on earth. Gandhi was the youngest child of his father's fourth wife. His father, I'm going to be butchering names, so I apologize, Karamanchad Gandhi, who was the chief minister of Porbandar, is the capital of a small principality in the western India, and it's now Gujarat state. Gandhi's mother was completely absorbed in religion and did not care much for finery or jewelry and divided her time between her home and the temple, fasted frequently, and wore herself out in days and nights of nursing whenever there was a sickness in the family. Mohandas grew up in a home steeped in Vaishnavism, which worship of the Hindu god Vishnu, with a strong tinge of Jainism, a morally righteous Indian religion whose chief tenets are nonviolence and the belief that everything in the universe is eternal. Yeah, that's right, Ransom. So Gandhi, he was married at the age of 13 to Kasturba, who was 14 years old, and it was an arranged marriage. And that's crazy to me to think that, you know, to get married at the age of 13. But anyways, different times. Um, he was a defiant child, and he shone neither in the classroom nor on the playing field. He loved to go out on long solitary walks, and when he was not nursing by his ailing father, who died soon after, he was helping his mother with her household chores. It is not surprising that he should have gone through a phase of adolescent rebellion marked by a secret atheism, petty theft, furtive, furtive smoking, and most shockingly of all, a boy born in Vaishnava family. He was a meat eater. So that's a big no-no for the religion. His his teenage years was probably not stormier than most children of his age and class. What's extraordinary, I guess, about him was the way his youthful transgressions ended. Never again was his promise to himself after each escapade, and he kept his promises. So beneath un, um, an unproposing exterior, he concealed a burning passion for self-improvement that led him to take even the heroes of Hindu mythology. So in 1894, when he was barely 25, he blossomed almost overnight into a proficient political campaigner. Through that common political organization, he infused a spirit of solidarity in the mixed Indian community. He flooded the government, the legislature, and the press with closely reasoned statements of India grievances. Finally, he exposed to the view of the outside world the skeleton in the imperial cupboard, the discrimination practiced against the Indian subjects of the Queen Victoria in one of her own colonies in Africa. So Gandhi, religious quest dated back to his childhood. The influence of his mother and father and of his home life in Porbandar, um, but it received a great impetus after arrival in South Africa. His Quaker friend in Pretoria failed to convert him to Christianity, but they quickened his appetite for religious studies. He was fascinated by the writings of Leo Tolstoy, I can't say that, Tolstoy, on Christianity. He read the Quran in translation and delved into Hindu scriptures and philosophy. Gandhi's legal earning reached a peak of 5,000 euros a year, but he had little interest of making money, and his savings were often stuck in the public activities. By the autumn of 1920, Gandhi was the dominant figure on the political stage, commanding and influencing never before attained by any political leader in India or perhaps in any other country. He refashioned the 35-year-old Indian National Congress, the Congress Party, into an effective political instrument of Indian nationalism. So it is not a secret that Mohandas Gandhi had an unusual sex life. He spoke constantly of sex and gave detailed, often provocative instructions to his followers as to how they might be best observe chastity. And his views were not always popular. So this is crazy. So as his father lay dying, Gandhi left left his bedside to have sex with his wife, Kasturba, his 14-year-old wife. Meanwhile, his father drew his last breath. The young man compounded his grief and guilt that he had not been present and represented his subsequent revolution towards lustful love as being related to his father's death. So Gandhi did not develop his sensuous attitude to sex until he was in his 30s. While a volunteer in the ambulance corps assisting the British Empire in its wars in southern Africa, on long marches in sparsely popular land, um, Gandhi considered how he will be best give service to humanity and decided it must be by embracing poverty and chastity. At the age of 38, in 1906, he took a vow of brahmacharya, which means living in spiritual life, but it's normally referred to as chastity, without which as a life is deemed impossible by Hindus. Gandhi found it easy to embrace poverty. It was chastity that eluded him. So he worked out a series of complex rules, which meant he could say he was chaste while he engaged in the most explicit sexual conversations, letters, and behaviors. With the seal of comfort, within a year of his vow, he told readers of his newspaper in an Indian opinion, "It is the duty of every thoughtful Indian not to marry. In case he is helpless in regard to marriage, he should obtain from sexual intercourse with his wife." Meanwhile, Gandhi was challenging that abstinence in his own ways. He set up ashrams in which he began the first experiments with sex. So boys and girls were to bathe and sleep together chastely, but were punished for any sexual talk. Men and women were segregated, and Gandhi's advice was that husbands should not be alone with their wives, and when they felt passion, should take a cold bath. The rules did not, however, apply to him. The attractive sister of Gandhi's secretary, also his personal physician, attended Gandhi's from girlhood. She used to sleep and bathe with Gandhi. When challenged, he explained how he ensured decency was not offended. "While she is bathing, I keep my eyes tightly shut," he said. "I do not know whether she bathes naked or with underwear on. I can tell from the sound that she uses soap." The provisions of such personal services to Gandhi was such as sought after signs of his favor and aroused jealousy among the ashram's inmates. So yeah, that was kind of weird. So as he grew older and following the death of his wife, he was to have more women around him and will I don't know how to say that word, oblige women to sleep with him, whom according to his segregated ashram rules were forbidden to sleep with their own husbands. Gandhi will have women in his bed engaging in his experiments, which seems to have been from reading of his letters on uh, reading of his letters and exercise in striptease or other non-contact sexual activity. Much explicit material has been destroyed by tantalizing remarks in Gandhi's letters remain such as Vina's sleeping with me might be called an accident, and all that be said is that she slept too close to me. One might assume then that getting into the spirit of the Gandhian experiment meant something more than just sleeping close to him. Anyways, that's just a weird, weird side note about Gandhi and his sexual beliefs, and I don't know. But anyways, at 5:17 on January 30 of 1948, Gandhi was with his grandnieces in the garden of Birla House on his way to address a praying meeting when Nathuram, a Hindu nationalist, fired 3 bullets into his chest from a pistol at close range. So he was assassinated. So, according to some accounts, Gandhi died instantly. In other accounts, such as one prepared by one eyewitness journalist, Gandhi was carried into the Birla house into a bedroom. There, he died about 30 minutes later, as one of the Gandhi's family members read verses from the Hindu scriptures. So, like I said, kind of, I mean, I'm sure I don't want to put a bad name on Gandhi or anything, but I don't agree with his sexual life or sexual beliefs. But anyways, let me see the chat. Because I haven't seen it. Hi, Lady Spitfire. Like Crowley. Yeah, sounds weird. Like I said, honestly, I don't. My intention for this video is not to offend anybody that regards Gandhi as something. That's not my point in this video. In this video or in this live stream is to show and talk a little bit about his life so I can compare it to the Mayan astrology life path. Because if I just read his Mayan astrology life path without telling you guys a little bit about his background, you guys will not be able to understand the correlations or things that match or don't match with the Mayan astrology. So, okay. So now I'm going to get into his Mayan life path, astrology life path. And again, I don't have a slideshow anymore, but bear with me, guys, because I am going to read his chart. So again, for those of you that are not familiar what my Mayan astrology life paths are, they pretty much come in 5 different aspects. One is your day sign, your Trasena, the Venus placement at your birth, then nine lords of the night, and the meaning of your birth year. And there, I'm gonna explain them as I go through them. So yeah. And one thing I do want to say is that these readings show a specific facets of your personality. So putting these different facets together will give you a rounded picture of your character. While this picture may in places seem contradictory, this is because of the human nature is complex. And you have probably noticed how I present with these readings, the difference faced depending on how certain situations meet and the situations that we are in. So the first part of this is the day sign. And my nose is itching. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm still sick. I'm still in the men, but I apologize, you guys, if I sound weird. So the day sign. The day sign is what the Aztecs will call your tonali, and is bestowed upon your by the sun. So your day sign describes your strongest and most obvious personality traits, who you are and how you appear to others, or at least on the surface. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna have to get a tissue. Hold on, you guys. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, you guys. So yeah, that's what the day sign is. And it's funny because so the day sign can be one out of 20 different, it can be a wind, an animal, or different things. But it's interesting because Gandhi's day sign is actually the same as mine. So Gandhi's day sign is a dog. So dog as his day sign, he was one of his best traits was loyalty, and he was a good team player. And because he had good, he knew instinctively how how the ranks worked. This understanding allowed him to be patient and wait for his turn for leadership. Let me pull up the chat so I can see what you guys are saying. What else? He might have experience as a follower and a good team player, and that prepared him for the leadership positions that ultimately he seek. And that's true because he was a leader of the activism in India. It said that he might have run his own business, and because of his experience, he would have been a good employer. He knew how to inspire loyalty in others because he had such a good understanding of itself. And yeah, one of the pictures on the slideshow I show you guys, or I think it was more than one, showed a lot of the crowd. Like he could gather a big crowd and followers. He had a strong neighborhood interest and usually know everybody in his block or in his town. And again, he was really worldwide known. Many dog personalities are very creative. The arts, particularly music and drawing and painting, made an appeal to him. While he's was usually not particularly daring or experimental in these areas, he had a good sense of harmony, rhythm, and potentially to become quite popular. Again, he did. He had a technique of conscious. He might aspire to public positions or attempt to provide social leaderships through teaching, education, or social work. Politics was important to him and was usually well informed regarding current events. And again, he was one of the in India representatives of that wanted the British hold of in India and Africa to be gone. So again, that resonates with that reading. Let's see. And again, he was involved in politics. He was a lawyer. Okay. It says here that it was probably his father that was the most influential parent that had provided him with a legacy. And such arrangement often create a situation where he had no choice but to follow the pattern set by his parents. There might have been rivalry between himself and his father, and much time may be spent in rebellion. Again, he was quite of a rebellious child. Like he used to get in trouble, he used to smoke, he used to eat meat, which is a big no-no for the Hindu religion. So yeah, that actually resonates too. Let's see what else. Many born on this day sign, which is the dog, will have a strong loyalty to community, city, or country, and will become involved in the political process. Some of you may even become patriotic leaders who help guide your community, large or small, into the future. Again, that totally talks about him. Let's see what else of his day sign. He needed to know clearly what the pecking order was and the boundaries that are drawn. Okay. So the Xoloscuincle was the Aztec name for this day sign, which translates in dog. That's Nahuatl for dog. So in the myth, and I covered this in Solot's video. In myth, the dog was the companion and guide of the souls as it traveled through the underworld. Perhaps due to this association, the Aztec deity Solotl, the lord of the underworld, was the ruler of this sign. In spite of this darkness, the Aztec did consider this a fortunate sign, and those born under it were can't talk, generous, prolific, and likely to rise in life. This observation seems to be just as true today. And again, I mean, he's known worldwide. So, all right, so that was his day sign. Now, the second aspect of this Mayan reading is the Trecena. So overlaying the cycle of the 20-day sign is another cycle of 13 days called the Trecena. Your day sign, therefore, has a number from 1 to 10 attached to it. This indicates which day your birth falls on a particular 13-day period that was in effect when you came into the world. This sign rules your 13-day period, shows how you react, and by extension, what you like to do, and who you are underneath. Our reactions both attract and repel us from things, people, and situations. They come from mostly unconscious drives and show what is needed by our deepest self. And hello, everybody that just came in. So his Trecena is a serpent. So accompanying his day sign dog is the number 6. This means that he was born in the 6th state of the Trecena that began with one serpent. So beneath his serpent's personality, the serpent characteristics are being strong. His reaction to crisis is to confront it head on. And again, that goes right with what he did in life. And his rather intense feelings can lead him to taking firmly committed positions. For him, life is seldom gray. He tends to see people as being either one side of the other, and yet get going, he could play hardball. The result is that people could sometimes see him as a fanatical and extreme. And again, I think that kind of resonates especially with his sexual orientation or sexual beliefs. He struggled with strong urges that can also propel him to the front. Again, as crazy of his beliefs of certain things, he was at the front of things. A real powerhouse, he had a drive to obtain positions of leadership. While the energy that emanated from him is considerable, it was harnessed energy. Rather than making a frontal assault, he generally preferred a more indirect approach that getting his way. Part of his personality appeal and charisma comes from the fact that he was generally well informed. Like I said, he was a lawyer. He was interested in learning and acquire information, which then applied to great intensity according to his own principles. Oh, thank you, Pisces. His day sign dog is a sign of the north, the direction that symbolizes rationality and understanding. Serpent is the ruler of his Trecena. It's a sign of the east, the direction that symbolizes self-interest and self-realization. This is a strong combination, one that suggests leadership potential, which he was, and it means that there is understanding, even wisdom behind his motivation to lead. And he did had a big motivation of his activism. So anyways, that was that was his Trecena. So for his Venus placement, let's see. So Like the moon, Venus has 4 phases depending on where it is relating to the sun. So there's the inferior conjunction, the morning star, the superior conjunction, and the evening star. So your Venus phase symbolizes your patterns, your style of approaching others and becoming involved with them. This applies to the way you relate not only to individuals but also to groups and society as a whole. Venus at his birth was in the evening star phase. Yes. This suggests that for him, feelings and emotions arises after, not therefore, action has been taken. In making judgments, which he did very well, he evaluated what has happened against the background of society, rules, and values. He instinctively understood the power and perhaps the correctness of the world as it has been. So, yeah. Again, I feel like that also resonates a lot with him. The values and morals of the past was important to him so that his vision may be strongly influenced by tradition. In his life, he had a sense of inevitable compromise. This is possibly a reaction to his awareness of having strongly imprinted by society, culture, or his parents. One result of this can be seen in his stance towards the power that be. Again, I guess I want to say he was very defiant towards the British and uh, how do I say, with the British taking over India and other countries. But yeah, anyways. So that was the Venus placement. So that was the Venus placement. Now is the Lord of the Night. This is the 4th aspect of this Mayan reading. So the ancient Maya and Aztec astrologers use a 9-day cycle of gods and goddesses called the Lords of the Night. This deity symbolizes the forces that lie at the bottom of your will to exist. On a personality level, they symbolize the workings on your deepest and darkest selves, parts of you that others may not know or understand. That's right, Alex. British Empire was really big. Yeah. Just like the Spanish Empire. So his Lord of the Night is number 7. I'm going to attempt to say it. Tlazoteotl. So this means he was born under the 7 Lords of the Night. And I think this is interesting. This was a confession goddess, one who has said to consume a person's sins, particularly the sexual ones. She was also the goddess of purification and healing. The symbolism of the goddess suggests that he was a person who may struggle with strong, socially unacceptable urges. Maybe that's why he suppressed them so much and he made this whole, I don't want to say cult, but yeah, cult of, abstinence and not having sex with your own husband. And anyways, I read that in the beginning of this video. But I thought that was interesting. That might explain why he had those urges. He had a desire of his desire of nature was very strong, and he also had a strong investment in presenting a socially acceptable face to the world. Again, like I read in the beginning when I was reading about his life, he set out certain rules for people to follow, but yet behind the scenes, he was not quite following those rules. According to, I'm talking about his sexual beliefs. Anyways, so the last part of this reading is the meaning of his birth year. So the Maya and the Aztec astrologers also recognize that each year produces a unique group of people. Each individual year is in a 52-year cycle is linked with a number and a compass direction that has an astrological meaning. number 1, North, was the year that he was born. Yeah, he was born in the year called 1 North. So this people born during the North years are, in general sense, adept at finding ways to preserve themselves. Rather than seeking to dominate their physical or social environments, they find ways to adjust to, modify, and work with it. Northern types are fitted to survive. People born in years ruled by the North tend to use their minds to solve problems. They are generally quite mental and rational, sometimes even too clever for their own good. At their best, they are precise and exacting, and they can be good problem solving. The number 1 preceding the birth direction indicates that his birth year is one of the first of a series of 13 years from the direction north. This indicates that he experienced the energies and general orientation of the north in its purest forms. So that was his Mayan astrology chart. And again, every time I do people's chart, or somebody that is well known worldwide, like Gandhi, and I read a little bit about their background and I do their chart, it's so spot on, because there's so many things of their personality that you can tell that it goes right with them, and how they impacted life and the world and the things that accomplish. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this live stream. It was a kind of short live stream. Let me see the chat. Yeah, but oh yeah, ransom is life path number 11. Yeah, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. And I haven't done Mayan astrology thing in a while, so I thought this would be a fun way to to refresh everybody about what a Mayan astrology life path is about. And again, if you're interested in getting to know a little bit more about your personality and maybe things that find a reason to why you do certain things, I find that these readings that I do help that a lot. So if you're interested in getting a Mayan astrology reading, email me at ravenwolfchannel@gmail.com. And I think, Anna, have you ever done? No, I haven't, Pisces. I haven't. But I want to do, I don't know what time is it. Maybe later tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to be doing more card readings. And I think I really like the way I did the last card readings for you guys, the pick your own cards. So I think I'm going to do that either later tonight or tomorrow. So if you're interested in getting a reading, don't miss out. So with all that, I think I'm going to end this live stream. Again, thank you so much for all of you for watching, for giving me support, for liking my videos, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.